Premier League primetime on tape. Jose, Cyrus, and Andre. And you know that Daveye don't play. In the field, they can talk about it all day. Look, and we moving up. You can try all you want, can't move like us. When it all comes down, they choosing us. And I do gotta say, we don't give a fuck. Premier League primetime, and it's only that. Speak only facts. Say what I want, can't hold me back. Can't hold me back. Premier League primetime, better yet, it's my time. You stay on the sideline. Say what I want, can't hold me back. Premier League primetime.
Hello and welcome back to Premier League Primetime, and a familiar face. He's been out for a long while. Mr. Cyrus, how are you doing?
I'm good, Daveye. How are you?
It's great to see this man back. We all know he was on the most recent episode, but it is fabulous to see him back, of course, and for our viewers, especially those who are big Saga fans, as well as myself. We're all happy to see him back. Today we're going to look at the world of European football, and we're going to just take a look at just the different transfer rumors that have been floating around, whether it's been for a long while, could be relevant to the summer, etc., etc. We're going to start with the one which it's been feeling like it's been bound to happen for many years now. Is Kylian Mbappe really, is he destined to play for Real Madrid next season?
I think he's gonna go, especially since Real beat PSG. I mean, what a comeback that was! What a crazy game. I feel like even if PSG beat Real, he still would have left. I think he wants to be there. I think he's tired of PSG. I think it's a done deal. I think he's definitely gonna go.
100%. And how do you think he'll fit into this Real Madrid side?
Because it kind of depends. Like right now, he's playing up top for PSG, but he can play in the left. He's played in the left before because of course they have Benzema, or he could play up top with Benzema. But whatever, or maybe behind Benzema, whatever it's going to be, I think he'll fit in. I think his pace combined with Vinny is going to be great. To play under experienced veterans like Modric, Casemiro, Cruz, I think he's going to learn a lot.
100%. The next one, do you think Erling Haaland is bound to move to Manchester City, or do you think that he may be bound for Real Madrid or Barcelona or another club?
That's tough. I think he will move. I don't know if it'll be this year, next year. I think that's kind of the common thing with Dortmund, unfortunately. Besides Marco Reus, you see all these big stars in Bele, Aubameyang, and I think he will leave. I think if it was going to be a club, wouldn't be Man U. I think it'd probably, I don't know. The thing is, if Real gets Mbappe, then do they really need Haaland? I don't think they do. So I think you'd go to a team like maybe Man City.
100%. Yeah. And of course, Manchester United have to be dreaming to think that Haaland would want to play, Thursday nights every week. Or could be Thursday nights in Europa, could be Thursday nights in Conference League. Who knows? Next, Declan Rice. Now, this man has been linked to one club. Of course, he would be the dream for me. Do you think he's bound to move to Manchester United this summer? Do you think that the £100 million, or wait, no, it was £150 million by West Ham? Do you think that price tag will stay as such and he will stay at West Ham?
I think it also depends on Man U. Is Pogba going to leave? Who are they going to get rid of? I think that 100, what do you say, 150? I think that's personally too much. I don't know about you, Daveye. Yeah. I rate him as a player. I think he does need to leave. West Ham's doing decent. I think he still needs to be at a top side, in history with Man U. So I think he could go to Man U. I think that if Man U wants him, they should still not go for that price tag. I think they should negotiate. I'd say, I won't even say 100. I'd say 80 million maybe. I think that would be a fair price, but you never know with this market. It's constant.
Yeah. He's English as well, so you also got to
exactly
that. and I remember the last time he paid 80 million pounds for an Englishman, and yeah, that's gone, really well.
That didn't go well.
No, it didn't at all. It's like having Minecraft Steve at the back at this point. Harry Kane, of course, Tottenham winning nothing this season, but then again, is that a surprise? Absolutely not. Even with Kante there, do you think he'll leave Tottenham this summer, or do you think he's staying put?
So he wanted to leave badly last summer, but I don't know. I feel like maybe Kante might change his mind. Obviously not getting silverware. They're close to top four. I think it might depend if they get fourth or not. I think if they get fifth, he might want to move, but we don't know. Of course, I know who's actually going to get fourth place, and that's the Gunners. But
My prediction.
it all depends on that. I don't think Harry Kane wants to play Europa League or Conference League.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. He's a world-class striker that should be leading the lines for the elite clubs in Europe. Unfortunately, Tottenham are not in the elite clubs in Europe. And I'm sure Cyrus would agree with that.
I would. Daveye would.
Next, we're going to shift to Arsenal. Now, I've been hearing some rumors here and there. Do you think Alexander Lacazette could potentially sign a new short-term contract just for a year, or do you think he's definitely going at the end of the season?
I think it depends on, if Arteta wants to keep him. I think Arteta said he does. It kind of depends on Lacazette now. Honestly, I think we do need a new striker, but Lacazette shows, a lot of leadership experience. I think that if we keep him, it has to not be like a long-term contract. I think maybe sign him for 1 year. He can come off the bench. He could be a replacement if our main striker gets injured. I think he's still, in my opinion, he's still a piece that we need.
100%, definitely. I mean, you still, have an amazing goal scorer in Eddie Nketiah, who, would you give him a new lifelong extension?
I'd sell him. I'd sell him. But I think Bagaloon, say
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I think he's been playing well on loan. I've seen some highlights. I think if he, learns to, finish, the thing about him is he's so strong, he's so powerful, pacey. He kind of reminds me a little bit. I don't want to say Danny Welbeck, but the thing about Danny Welbeck is back when he was younger, he had all the things except finishing, to be honest. And I think he's kind of similar, but I'd call Bagaloon back up, in my opinion.
Definitely. And of course, the next question, surely it's a yes. Arsenal to sign a new striker. And if so, who do you think they will sign and who do you want to see them sign? Of course, so many names. Darwin Nunez, Alexander Isak, Victor Osimhen, Ollie Watkins, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Any name that stands out to you?
I mean, we were also talking about like Alexander Isaac. There's so many options. Jonathan David. Maybe Jonathan David. Speaking of Jonathan David, he constantly touches me in FIFA. But if I don't know, like the thing is, I've always been a huge Ollie Watkins fan. The issue is the price tag. Is he going to be too much because he's English? He's actually a lifelong Arsenal fan. I rate him. He'd be my favorite option, but would he be the best option in terms of price? I don't think so.
100%. And another Englishman, Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. Would you consider him or no?
Yeah, I'd consider him. He had such a strong start to the season. I definitely consider him big, tall striker, again from England, which might, present a problem, but
Got him. Yeah, we'll definitely add on to that price tag. Roughly what he would be like a 30-40 million add on to whatever the standard base price is. Next, of course, another huge question. Mohamed Salah, of course, contract ends next season. Do you think he'll be on his way out of Liverpool? And of course, knowing FSG, they have a very, very tight wage structure, wage system. Mohamed Salah, apparently it's down to him. He loves Liverpool. Liverpool want him to stay, but apparently it's just down to the money. Mohamed Salah wants, I think, roughly £400,000 a week. Do you think he'll end up signing a new contract? Do you think Liverpool will really give £400,000 a week, or do you think he'll be on his way out?
That's so hard. So what happened with Philip Coutinho, star of the team. He wanted more wages than Liverpool, wanted to give him. He left. You saw what happened. Obviously he's doing better at Aston Villa now. But I don't know. I feel like Salah's different. I feel like he's that one level up from what Coutinho was at Liverpool. I feel like if he wants wages, I feel like Liverpool should offer them. People have different opinions on that. If so, I mean, I would give him it if I were Liverpool, but he hasn't been amazing. since the African Cup of Nations, but I think that's maybe just fatigue. I think, international break. I think he'll come back the player that he was before. So I'd give him the money if I was Liverpool.
Man, I think most Liverpool fans that I know want him to stay. He's for me, he's joint best player in the world amongst, I don't know, I'd say Kylian Mbappe, Robert Lewandowski. One could maybe throw Benzema on that conversation, but probably not. Next, Calvin Phillips, another Englishman. Calvin Phillips. I've been seeing links to Aston Villa or West Ham. Do you think he could go to either one? Do you think he'll leave Leeds this summer? What do you think?
That's another tough one. Would you take him at Man U, Daveye?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'd take a packet of crisps because it's better than McFred in midfield. So I'd take him.
Yeah, I think honestly he would suit Man U the most. Again, English player. You saw him at the Euros.
I think he'd suit you lot as well.
That's what I was gonna say. Instead of Xhaka, who's
I know how much you love Granit. I know how much you love him.
I think he would suit us. I think it just depends on the price tag again, Dave. I think if you guys get Rice, there's no need for him. But I'd take him at Arsenal. I think, Leeds haven't been doing that great this year. I think he deserves a move somewhere.
Especially if they go down.
Oh, for sure. No. If they go down, he's out. He's leaving.
100%.
It's just about if they stay up or not.
And you can throw Rafinha into that conversation. Patrick Bamford. Who knows what could happen to some of these Leeds players. Next, another Englishman, another central midfielder, James Ward-Prowse. What a player he has been. Do you think at some point he's going to leave Southampton? Maybe not this summer, maybe not this January, maybe next season. Do you think he will go?
That one's harder. I don't know, because there was I think he was linked to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know why. I think that's a player I don't really see moving. I feel like he's been with them for so long. He's captain of the side. I don't know. I feel like he shouldn't go, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I don't know about you, Dave. I feel like he shouldn't go. I feel like he won't go. But
I don't think he'll go either.
They're not even doing bad. They're in 11th place.
No. Yeah, they are. And for Southampton side that was struggling in the beginning of the season, you're hovering around relegation. They're now doing so much better as of right now. Next, Antonio Ruediger. What is going to happen with Ruediger? And let's assume that Chelsea have their new owners and they're able to get out of the sanctions that they're in as of right now. Because as of right now, with the sanctions, they can't buy players, loan players, sign players to new contracts, can't gain any money whatsoever, have to play behind closed doors. More or less, they're screwed in terms of gaining revenue in any way, shape, or form. But we're just going to say that new owners have bought them, Abramovich has left and whatnot. What do you think is going to happen to Antonio Ruediger? Do you think he will end up signing a new deal at Chelsea, or do you think he will be off somewhere else? And if so, where?
Yeah, what's happening now is crazy. You got to feel for the Chelsea players. But if everything works out, and there are a lot of signing new players, allowed to do what they were doing before, I think he's gonna stay. I think he's gonna stay for sure. He's been great the last 2 years. Winning Champions League last year.
I'd say year and a half, because under Lampard he wasn't featuring, but under Tuchel, yeah, he's been huge.
He has all the. I don't know. He has all the things. He's a little crazy, but his power, positioning. I don't know. I think he'd stay at Chelsea, assuming they can re-sign him.
100%. And hey, if you want to, come to Manchester, I'd welcome you.
Well, I don't think he wants to come, Dave.
I don't think anyone at this point would want to come to Manchester at this point. Next, another player which a lot of drama has been surrounded. Ousmane Dembele. What is going to happen with Ousmane Dembele? He's been, as of recent, he's been playing out of his mind right now. He's been excellent under Xavi as of recent. But what is going to happen to Ousmane Dembele? Contract up at the end of the season. Of course, there's been a contract that's been thrown out on the table. Dembele hasn't signed it or refused it. What is going to happen with Ousmane Dembele?
He's turned those boos into cheers. I think he's the most assists in 2022. He's been great linking with Aubameyang. I think if he continues this form, I think Barca will have no choice but to sign him back. I think he's enjoying himself. I think if he continues like this and Barca continues in this way with Xavi leading them, I think he'll stay.
100%. I could definitely see that. And next, another French winger, Musa Diaby. He's been very good for Leverkusen. Rumors are that Premier League teams are increasing interest. Do you think he'll move to the Premier League? And if so, what clubs do you think would suit him, or do you think he would be most likely to go to?
That's a tough one. The thing is, like, moving to the Premier League, it's such a challenge. He has the pace. French. It's tough because a lot of players, like especially from a league like Bundesliga, I feel like it's more easy. But if he's been playing very well, I think a team that probably needs a couple of wingers. I don't know. Maybe Arsenal could use him. The thing is, like, we now Pepe and even like Emile Smith-Rowe can't get into the side right now because of Martinelli. I'm trying to think of a big success, maybe Tottenham.
Well, they're not a big club,
That is true.
I'm sorry, Andre.
Yeah, big ups, Andre. But I don't know.
I've been hearing Newcastle, a lot of Newcastle, but then again, they're going to be.
That's true. We have to remember that Newcastle money to spend. I think he'd be a good addition. Imagine him and St. Maximin. Oh.
St. Maximin already gives me nightmares because we make St. Maximin look like prime Ronaldinho when he's playing, and imagine another pacey techie sort of winger, but that's gonna give me nightmares. I mean, we already make Joe Linton look like the new Casemiro midfield, so So what do you think? Do you think he'll go, or do you think he may stay for another year and just keep playing at Leverkusen?
I think if he does go, it could be to a side like Newcastle, but I don't know. It kind of depends how much people like Bayern Leverkusen are going to give him up for. I think, it's a team who's given up players before, so I think he could definitely leave. I think Newcastle's a good fit.
Definitely. Next, now, I've been hearing, of course, we've all been hearing nonstop. Who is going to take the helm at Old Trafford next season? The two names I've been hearing constantly. Of course, there's a five-man choice. You have Julian Lopetegui. You have the likes of Luis Enrique. You have Thomas Tuchel, which still he's not coming to Manchester United. He's been mentioned in this big short list of names. But the two who are, in my opinion, by far the favorites, Mauricio Pochettino, Eric Ten Hag. Who do you think is going to be at the helm next season at Old Trafford?
I think you guys are going to get Pochettino. I don't think he's happy at PSG. I don't think he's been successful at PSG. I think I don't know if he'll get fired, but I think he's not going to be the manager next year. I think maybe he wants to come back to England. I think he'd be the most likely option, to be honest, Daveye.
And why would you say not Eric Ten Hag? Or do you think that would be a likely option as a whole, regardless of Pochettino?
Yeah, I heard they were interviewing him. I don't know. I feel like Ajax wouldn't let him go. I don't know. I feel like. Sorry?
I said fair enough. I don't
know. I like would he even want to leave Ajax? I don't know. He was so successful with them a couple of years ago with that team. I think he'd be a good fit. I think he'd be someone new, better than definitely your manager right now. So,
yeah, the father of the Gegenpress, as we were all supposed to get up and excited in the beginning with Ralf Rangnick. Don't get me started on how much stick I've faced from just whether it's social media or whether it's people on other channels getting me so much stick because I don't rate Ralf Rangnick as a proper manager, as a coach, just in general. Next, Antonio Conte. Now, after winning the league with Inter Inter Milan said, yeah, we're going to sell your best right wing back and we're going to sell your star striker. And what did Conte do? He was like, nope, I'm out. Now, we all know that Antonio Conte, of all things, he must be backed. And if he's not backed, he's going to throw temper tantrums like a toddler, as he always says in press conferences, just like Jose Mourinho. Now, knowing Daniel Levy, knowing what he usually is and how he's so kind and giving with money and transfer fees and funds in transfer windows, do you think that Conte could potentially quit Tottenham?
I don't know, Daveye. He is someone who demands constant, reinforcement. He wants to win. I know that. I'm sure he's not happy not winning. He wants to break the Tottenham curse. But I don't know. I feel like he's so stubborn that he's gonna stay. He wants to win something. I think sure Daniel Levy doesn't back a lot of coaches, but I don't know. I think if he convinces Harry Kane to stay, he's gonna stay as well.
100%, definitely. Next, Armando Roja. Now, he's had quite a season at Southampton. Now, where do you think he'll end up at the end of the season? Because there are lots of clubs interested. Do you think he'll end up at Southampton permanently? According to, the GOAT Fabrizio Romano, they are heavily interested in acquiring him permanently. They're in conversations with Chelsea to see how much money they need to pay to get a potential deal over the line. Do you think, surely he's most likely going to leave Chelsea? And if so, where do you think he'll end up? Do you think he'll stay at Southampton, or do you think his future lies elsewhere?
I think he'll stay at Southampton. Chelsea don't need him. He's on loan, but he's a big boy. He's 6'3". He's young, 20. He has 6 goals this season. So I think he'll stay. I think he's a good fit.
Definitely, 100%. Next, Philippe Coutinho. He's just come to life under Steven Gerrard. Aston Villa have a 40 million buy option. Do you think that buy option will be triggered?
I think so. I think he's been a great fit. I think he wants to stay, playing under Steven Gerrard. I'm sure he enjoys it, former teammates. I think it's a great fit for him. Sure, he should play on a bigger club, but right now he's doing well and he should stay.
Definitely. Now, circling back to Manchester United now, two very, very key figures. Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, it's been, I would say that the only way that people would think Cristiano Ronaldo would leave is if Manchester United finished outside the top 4. And in the beginning of the season, I don't think anyone in a million years would think that. But now it's looking like a certain possibility or a certain fate, one should say. Do you think he will stay at Manchester United past the season? And of course, another name, Paul Pogba, especially after hearing what he had to say. Surely Pogba's more or less saying, I want to leave Manchester United in the summer.
Yeah, I saw what Pogba said. Kind of looks like he's out for sure. Maybe going to PSG. I heard him say something about that. His 5 years at Man U have been just up and down. Lots of injuries, inconsistent moments. I think Pogba's out. CR7, it's different. See, I think even if Man U gets Champions League, Pogba's out. But CR7, I think I just couldn't see him in the Europa League. I couldn't see it.
No one can.
I think he's going to go if you guys don't get top 4. I don't want to see that. I like CR7 in the Premier League. But, my favorite thing would be if Arsenal gets 3rd and you guys get 4th, because I do want to see CR7 stay, but I don't know if Chelsea's going to slip up like that.
And then one thing that we know what would happen is if Chelsea somehow finish 5th, we know Andre will be having a field day, especially we all know how much he loves Thomas Tuchel. I think you, myself, Jose, and Jose would love to see what Andre would have to say about that. I can only imagine if Chelsea finished 5th. I can only imagine how hard Andre would be going in on Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea. But yeah, honestly, I don't see either of them staying past the end of the season. Next, Robert Lewandowski. Now, that's another one. Could he be leaving Bayern at the end of the season? I think his contract expires in 2023. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but his contract is up relatively soon. Where do you think his future lies? Do you think he'll just re-sign and finish out with Bayern, or do you think he's may try something else?
Ooh, I think he's gonna stay. I've seen him linked to Barca. I've seen him linked to Liverpool. I think honestly, if he does leave, I think under Klopp, who's managed him before, that could be something that could be fun to see. But I don't know. I feel like he's getting older. I feel like he's gonna stay at Bayern.
100%. I don't think anyone would be surprised if he stayed. Bayern Munich is still one of the best clubs in world football. Let's not forget that. 100%. Next, now we'll go over to Ajax. There are a few players that have been linked to move. Anthony, what a talent this boy is. He is an unreal talent. For me, he definitely reminds me a lot of Vinicius Jr. 100% in terms of just his skill set, that how techy of a player he is. Where do you think his future lies? And also Nicholas Tagliafico, as well as Ryan Gravenberch.
Oh yeah, he does remind me of Vinicius a little bit. Ajax is known for developing players, selling players. So I think if he doesn't leave this year, he's gonna leave the next year. You've seen it with De Jong, Delict, Ziyech, Van de Beek.
Yeah.
And some have been successful, some haven't. I think De Jong has. You've seen what happened with Van de Beek.
Yeah,
he's just had some injuries, but
he's been successful with Everton. I mean,
but before that, it was off. I mean, it wasn't really his fault, but it was still unsuccessful.
He was under a great manager. A manager of the year.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he's gonna leave. To the Premier League is probably what I think. But it depends. He's 22, I believe. It's not like, so he's still young. I think if he wants to go, it'd have to be this year, next year, so that he's still, pretty young.
100%. What about Nicholas Tagliafico? Links to Barcelona, and Ryan Gravenberch links heavily to Bayern Munich. What are we saying here?
I think Ryan could definitely leave, but I don't see, the thing about Tagliafico is I'm pretty sure he's old. I'm not sure, he's I think he's almost 30. He's gonna turn 30 this summer.
I think so.
I don't see Barca needing him unless it's I think Jordi Alba's still playing well. If to back up, but I think Tagliafico will stay. Yeah, I think he'll stay.
100%. Next, Florian Wirtz, playmaker for Bayer Leverkusen. He's as a lot of what Leverkusen fans and supporters are saying, he's more or less the reincarnation of Kai Havertz in terms of positioning, what he does on the ball, what he does off the ball. What do you think? Where do you think? Do you think he'll leave this summer, or do you think he'll stay another year and leave the following summer?
He's so impressive. 18, 7 goals. I mean, that's pretty good. We're older than him. I don't know. I don't think he'll leave this year. He's only 18. I think maybe he'll stay a couple more years. I know Liverpool were linked to him, but I don't know. I feel like he'll stay a couple more years then leave. That's what I think. Something like Havertz did.
Definitely. Next, Douglas Louise. He has a year left on his contract. Do you think he'll commit to this Aston Villa project with Steven Gerrard? If not, where do you think he will end up? Quality player.
Oh, that's hard. Aston Villa is doing really well. Him and Coutinho, 2 Brazilians. I heard that Tottenham were linked to him. Arsenal were. I don't know. Maybe if he does leave, it'd be somewhere like Tottenham. But I think he's gonna stay.
100%. More or less the exact same situations. What about Yuri Tielemans? Now, he rejected a new contract proposal from Leicester a little while back. I think in the January transfer window, he rejected a new contract. Where do you think Yuri Tielemans will end up?
Yeah, I think he's been dropping a couple of transfer hits. He's a good player. I think sorry, 1 second.
Well, while he's gone, I'll give my say on Yuri Tielemans. For me, I think he's gone out the door. In my honest opinion, for me, Yuri Tielemans is a fantastic player, and I think he's what, 23, 24. He's still young, and I think he needs to, or he should, and he can. He definitely has all the talent in the world to do so. For me, and he could definitely get into a big club, 100%. At the end of the day, he could definitely move and probably start for most big clubs in the world. I'd say bar, or if you look at the Premier League, I'd say bar Liverpool and Manchester City. For me, he gets into any side in the Premier League, 100%. He's a quality player. Yuri Tielemans, great player. I don't know if Cyrus is back or whatnot. Cyrus, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
No,
Some intruders, one would say. What were we talking about?
Yuri Tielemans, where do you think he will end up?
Oh yeah. So I think he's definitely gonna leave. Again, I don't know. I feel like maybe he could stay in the Prem. Maybe somewhere. I mean, I think I don't know if I'd take him at Arsenal. But I don't know. I feel like he's staying in the Prem. Maybe Aston Villa. We'll see though.
Yeah, no, imagine what a signing that would be. Yuri Tielemans to Villa. That would be a phenomenal signing. Next, Wilfried Zaha, again linked to Lee Palace. Or do you think he'll stay? Do you think Patrick Vieira could potentially turn his head?
I think he. I don't even know if a big club would want that guy. Like, his temper's awful. He hasn't even been that good this season. I think he's gonna stay because I don't think anyone's gonna want him, to be honest.
Fair enough, definitely. In contrast to Wilfried Zaha, I'd say Palace's player of the season, Conor Gallagher, similar to Armando Broja on loan from Chelsea. Now, where do you think he will end up, if not staying at Chelsea next season? Do you think he will stay at Palace? And how much do you think he's worth in today's market, bar in mind he is English?
I think the English adds like a heavier price tag, but I don't know, I'd say like 60. I think if he wasn't English, it'd be like 40. But I think when you're English, it always, especially in the Premier League, it always adds that 20. I don't know. I think he should go back to Chelsea. I think maybe he could try to get in that team, fight for his spot. I think he's not going to stay at Crystal Palace. I don't know. I don't think he would want to, but he's been great. And I think that he should try to fight for a spot, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Last 5 transfers to get through. What is going on with Eden Hazard? It's sad to see how talented this lad was coming into Real Madrid, just right on top of his game. He just come off of the best season he's ever had at Chelsea, comes into Real Madrid, and it's just spiraled down the drain. I think he just got another injury as recent, and he has to have surgery again. What on earth is Real Madrid going to do with Eden Hazard?
It's sad. I don't think he played in one El Clasico his time at Real.
Not once.
He's just been having injury after injury. I think his problem was like when he was younger, he didn't really have to take things seriously. I heard he'd show up to practice, wouldn't try. Because he had so much talent. I think he needs to start taking care of his body more. I think he needs to leave Real, maybe come back to the Prem. Imagine him going to Newcastle.
Oh my gosh.
I think he does need to leave though. Whether it's moving somewhere else, I think he does need to leave. I think I don't even know if he's wanted at Real anymore. They have Vinicius. Hazard's older now. I think he needs to find himself again.
100%, definitely. Now, speaking of Chelsea and speaking of Belgians, what on earth are Chelsea going to do with Romelu Lukaku? What on earth are they going to do with him?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think kind of should have stayed at Inter. He's successful. It's hard because he had that I wouldn't say fallout, but he was criticizing, the way things were going. But he's still 28 years old. Um, I don't know. I've heard PSG are linked to him. I don't know. I feel like maybe if Mbappe goes, he could go there, but I think I think he might stay. It kind of depends on what happens with Mbappe.
100%. Recently, Fabrizio Romano did break the news. Franck Cassie to Barcelona. What do you think he will bring to Barcelona's midfield? Do you think this could be a good signing for them?
I think it could, as Busquets is getting older, they need someone, Gavi, Pedri, De Jong, they're all great players, but are they really enforcers? Are they really stoppers? Are they really just defensive minded? Like I think he'd be a good pickup. Like even if he doesn't start, I think off the bench he could offer, shielding for the back four.
100%. And I think De Jong is the most suited for that role. And of course, when I say this, I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that they have anywhere near the same ability. But it's like when I look at De Jong reminds me of Fred in a way that, we both Manchester and Barcelona's best suited defensive midfielder. Both their legs have gone. And when you look at the alternatives, Fred's are more or less the best solution we have. And De Jong's basically the best that they have. They could play there, but they're better with the ball carrying it forward. That's how I see Frankie De Jong. And I think Franck Cassie's, for me, he's still more of a box-to-box. Like he's very similar to Thomas Partey, would you say? Or would you say he's definitely more of similar to Wilfred Ndidi?
I think he's similar to Partey. I think they're both similar. Sometimes they'll go forward, have the occasional shot over the bar, like Partey does every time. Pisses me off. But yeah, they're similar. They can get forward a little bit, but their main job is to protect the back four.
100%. Next, Matthias Delict. Now, do you think there have been rumors that he could leave Juventus potentially if they don't get Champions League football? Where do you think his future lies, or do you think he's a mainstay for Juventus for years to come?
I think he's gonna stay. Has he been what everyone was gonna think he was? Like, no, but it's not like he's been bad. I think he still has room to grow. Obviously, he's still young. He captained Ajax at such a young age. It's incredible. I think he's still time to grow. I think he's going to be great in the next couple of years. He's only 22.
100%. Next, going to Liverpool. What to do with Divock Origi and Roberto Firmino at Liverpool? Clearly phased out of the side by Jurgen Klopp, especially since the arrival of the Colombian winger Luis Diaz from Porto. What to do with both of them? And also, what to do with Sadio Mane? Because you still have Diogo Jota, Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, and you have Sadio Mane, who has been the most underperforming, even though Luis Diaz has just gotten there. I'd still say Sadio Mane has been the least performing. Not that he's a bad player, he's an amazing player, but he just hasn't been a Sadio Mane that we know that he can be. Also, what to do with him as well?
I think you need to keep Mane. I think he's still a great player. Sure, he's had, even last year didn't have a good year. He has more goals now than last year, but it's still not what it was 2019, 2018. He was scoring 18, 20 goals, per season. I think he just, he's only 29. He's probably like supposed to be in the prime of his career, and I think he just needs to pick things up. I think, playing with Salah can sometimes be hard. They're both players who, I wouldn't say selfish, but want to score. I think that you need to keep Mane. When it comes to Firmino and Origi, Origi scored so many big goals for Liverpool in his time, although not, I would say, the most quality of players. I think that you have to choose. You have to get rid of one of them. If a good price comes for Firmino, you get rid of him. To be honest, I think he's been great for Liverpool. But when you have Diaz now coming into the side, you have Diego Jota, who's been brilliant. I don't know if you need both of them anymore. I think you need to get rid of one of them.
100%. And lastly, before we end the video, Saigai, how much or what are the chances that you'd see your favorite cheeky trio of Granit Xhaka, Eddie Nketiah, and Rob Holding sign new lifelong contracts? What would you do if they signed new 5-year contracts?
Daveye, you'd be at my funeral if they did. I'll tell you that one. I want to see Xhaka and Nketiah gone. Holding can be a backup. I'm fine with that. Whenever he comes on and it's 1-0, I feel safer. When he came on against Aston Villa, I knew we weren't conceding.
And you're talking about a Granit Xhaka, a steal in the midfield, Granit Xhaka.
Definitely not Xhaka. The thing about Xhaka is I feel like some Arsenal fans right now are like, oh, he's playing well, but he always has that mistake in him, that reckless challenge in him. And sure, I think the refs are completely unfair to him sometimes, but it's because he's done so many stupid things that they are like that. So I don't know. I'd like to see him either as a backup or gone.
And just like, you say that Granit Xhaka always has that mistake in him, it's just like, Eddie Nketiah, definitely always has that killer instinct in front of goal.
Well, he has an instinct, and that's to not score. He's good in cup matches, but that's because we're playing Div 4 teams. And so
you should keep him for Carabao Cup games. I
don't really think I think if we get a new striker, Lacazette, Bagalong, they could play those games, but we don't need him, in my opinion.
Well, that sums up an absolutely fantastic segment of Premier League Primetime. Of course, we are so happy to have this guy back, and boy, we all at Premier League Primetime we missed Cyrus. It's fantastic to have him back. If you've loved this video, love to see Cyrus back again, leave a like, smash like on this video, comment down below. What are your thoughts? Surely everyone's happy with Cyrus back, and if you're not happy with Cyrus back, just unsubscribe to the channel. Just
Ace my fat one.
And wherever you are, you want to in the world, have a great day or evening.